folks? He's Hunter Pence. I'm Daron Sutton. This is the opening week of college baseball, and you're watching Perfect Game College Baseball. Hunter, we've got a great show. Look, if I look at PG's top five when you run into the preseason and now into the regular season, their first poll has LSU 1, Tennessee 2, Stanford 3, Arkansas 4, and Wake Forest 5. We're excited to talk about it throughout the year. But I said LSU 1 for LSU. They've got a very deep team, Jay Johnson, and we're going to have Paul Skenes on this show. What makes Paul unique to me, Hunter, is he's maybe the best hitter on the team, but he's also maybe the best pitcher on the team. I'm excited to get to know him.
Yeah, Paul is just an exciting, extraordinary, talented, the Otani college pitcher. He's big. He does both really mechanically sound and powerfully. So it's going to be exciting to get to hear from him how he's managing all of that workload that comes into pitching, hitting, and college studies.
Yeah, college studies. He, by the way, has really fond and respectful reflections to his time at the Air Force Academy that you're going to want to hear as well. And then Ryan Ihle will come on the show. He's a head coach at Wallace Dothan. He's got a unique journey. Grew up in Australia, born in Arizona, but grew up in Australia. Chose to chase baseball, right? But do it in the United States. Now has stayed to become a coach. He did all he needed to do. He's been to the Cape. He's been an assistant for Mackey Sasser at the JUCO level, longtime Major League catcher. It's his first year as a head coach at Wallace Dothan Community College. And excited to kind of get inside his head, Hunter, because he loves the sport.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it's one of those stories that when there's a will, there's a way, and he wanted to play baseball. It wasn't easy. He finds a way. And like I said, when you love the game, good things happen to good people. And 28 years old, he's had a lot of success teaching hitting, now head coaching. It's going to be exciting to hear about him and the Dirty Govs and what's going on this season, man. Amazing team, amazing coach, and excited to see what he has in store.
The Dirty Govs, JUCO budgets, JUCO laundry. Sometimes you got to wear that uniform over and over. Great conversations over and over on this show. Let's get it going on Perfect Game College Baseball. We're excited for this connection. I know a couple of years ago, Paul Skenes came on Perfect Game's podcast Amateur Hour and got to know him then. And a lot has changed in his life. There's been a lot of progression. He's put up another All-American season as a college baseball player and now a member of Jay Johnson's team at LSU. And Paul spends time with us now. Hey, Paul, Hunter and I are really grateful that you're spending time with us on Perfect Game College Baseball. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
When you look around the locker room with huge expectations, and you're in one of those, and you played for Team USA last year as well, but when you're in a locker room with the kind of expectations and the talent that is around you, all Americans from one side to the other, huge expectations, how much better does it make you as a player? You know, I mean, you are on a team that's very good. There are huge expectations. Everyone can be said as good as you at their position. Does that help you as a player? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I came to LSU was just to experience that, be around a locker room full of guys that are it would be the best on a lot of other teams in college. So, facing them, luckily, we're done with inter-squad, so I don't have to face Dylan and Tommy and Trey anymore. But facing them every week has made me a lot better. And then working with the arms that we have, competing with them, it's been an awesome environment that I've been able to be in. And I'm just really looking forward to what we do in the spring.
That's really amazing stuff, Paul. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. You're facing some of the best hitters. And by the way, the SEC is going to be full of a lot of those. Obviously, Dylan Cruz is ranked number 1. But you learn when you play the best, iron sharpens iron. What has the experience at LSU been like? And what are some of the things that you've learned working with the pitching staff, Jay Johnson? These are the highest level, baseball minds, in my opinion, in the world and the nation.
Yeah. It's a new environment for sure. And a huge opportunity to work with them. I came here to work with Coach Jay and Coach Wes, and they have been everything that I have expected and wanted and a lot more. If you ask Coach Johnson what about Coach Wes, he'll say that Coach Wes is the best pitching coach in the world. And so to hear that coming from him, it's awesome to be able to work with a guy with his pedigree, every day, develop with him. And then he's developed the pitching staff as a whole so much and, competing with all the guys on the pitching staff. But it's been really cool to be able to work, have these facilities, all the people around this program, and all the support going into the season. And I really just can't wait to see what it's going to be like, during the season.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting to see. And like watching, I got to watch a little bit of your film with Team USA, and you're a big guy, 6'6", 240-ish, a lot of power, but man, you are under control, calm, smooth delivery. The mechanics are really sound, both hitting and pitching. And this is where I love to dive into this stuff. And I want to hear just like, you're already coming into LSU with some of these great minds with a really well-tuned mechanics that work for you. To me, I think you look like DeGrom to me with a little bit of a lower angle. But tell me a little bit about where you got your mechanics. Are you working with any of that? What is some of the nuts and bolts of what you're working with the pitching staff there at LSU?
Yeah, if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be, one of the, a pitcher that throws really hard, I would have laughed at you, because that wasn't the route that I thought I was going to go on. And so when I was in high school, I thought I was going to be a catcher, and I was working every day to catch and hit. And then at some point, I think probably my junior year, I started pitching again, like out of relief. I didn't throw bullpens or anything. I just hopped up on the mound and threw the ball as hard as I could. And my senior year, I started working at it a little bit more. And I think my body really learned to move on the mound because of what I did, all the work that I did hitting wise. And so pitching, it's been there hasn't been a whole lot of coaching there other than, some pitch grips and like cueing, where my hand is at release and that kind of thing. But the overall movement pattern, I would say, of me on the mound, it's pretty natural. And so now coming in here and working with Coach West, like, it's a lot more of the nuts and bolts, I think, than I have done in the past, but it's been a good adjustment.
It's intriguing. I want to give you a chance to continue to love and respect those from the Air Force Academy that clearly means so much to you. And Coach Kozlowski is one that we've had on this show multiple times. His passion is infectious. I always want to just go play. I want to be a kid again and go play for him. Tell us a little bit about the experience, how you grew, what you gained there, and obviously, Coach, how much Coach Mike means to you.
It was such an awesome opportunity to be able to go there, spend 2 years there. I think I got a lot of the experiences and the opportunities from that school. To be honest, most of them just short of, actually getting a diploma. So I'm super grateful for the 2 years that I spent there, teaching me a lot about myself and relationships, how to lead, how to follow, then how to work. The discipline piece is something that I take pride in, and that's been a huge piece for me, obviously in life, but now transitioning over to LSU, where it's a lot more baseball first, having that experience in my back pocket has been huge. And so I'm super grateful for that. I wouldn't trade those 2 years for anything. I wouldn't trade those relationships for anything. And I think, that was the best decision I could have made to go there and, experience all that with however many of my closest friends, 35 of my closest friends or whatever. I'm super grateful for it.
Two uncles that served in the Navy, another uncle in the Coast Guard, and obviously your parents, and Coach as well at Air Force. Talk to me a little bit about what went into the decision and how I'm sure you sought the people that you trusted the most and really paused and thought about it. Just talk to me about making that decision.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm super grateful for on there is I had to go to my teammates, some of my teammates, because they're the ones that are with me every day. Really they're my brothers that I'm with every single day. They're my family, away from home. So I had to go to a couple of them. It was actually during the season last year, and talk them through my mindset. And the thing that I could rely on with them is that they were going to tell me what's best for me and not what's best for them or the baseball team at Air Force. And so I went to talk to my parents, obviously a ton, my uncles, some of my coaches from back home, and even our volunteer assistant. I went to him And then eventually I went to Kaz and I said, hey, like, I have to do this for me. And he was completely supportive of it, and still is. I talk to him all the time, just because that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, he's really my second dad. So the one thing that I'm grateful for with all that, they could have easily, shunned me, said, F you, like you're not on the team anymore. You're not a part of us anymore. And they, completely went the other way with it. I still feel like I'm a part of that brotherhood, a part of that family, which I'm super grateful for. I talk to those guys every day. And that's something that I think I'll be a part of for the rest of my playing career and the rest of my life.
Paul, that gives me chills, and I think brothers understand you're a unique talent, and you got a great gift and a great opportunity, and I think family looks out for what's best for you and understands that. It's rare, and it's exciting to hear that story, that they're excited for you, and I'm sure that they're going to enjoy following you this year and the years to come. Man, what an awesome story! But I'm going to jump back into the baseball side of it, Paul. Like, I really got chills, dude. You're an awesome kid. I want to talk. Like, do you have any intentions? Like, you've gone, on the baseball field, back-to-back first-team All-Americans. Now you're at LSU. What is, like, your goals and intentions going into this year, and how do you stay mentally focused when you've already accomplished that much?
Really, I won a conference championship last year, and that was one of the best experiences I've ever had on a baseball field. I want to do that again. I want to win a conference championship, the tournament championship. I want to win a national championship, and to be honest, I don't care how we get there. I know there's going to be adversity in there. But I think we have the right dudes in the locker room, not just from a baseball standpoint, but like how the quality of person and the quality of character that we have in the locker room, I think is something that Coach Johnson has done a really good job assembling. And we've done a really good job, I think, as players kind of cultivating that throughout the fall and the winter. And so literally, that's all I want to do now. And it's cool because you talk to Dylan, Trey, Tommy, Thatcher, a bunch of guys that have a lot of other goals in baseball that, could easily brush that aside. And I think if you ask them the same question, they'll say the same thing, which is, I think that's a cool environment that we have.
Heck yeah, play to win, and the rest takes care of itself. We've dived a little bit into your pitching, and you've been working with Coach Wes. How do you manage working both pitching and hitting? Are you still working on your hitting? Are you planning to go up there and get your at-bats in as well this year? And how's that looking for you? And what have you been working on as far as hitting is concerned? Yeah,
hitting, it's pretty much the same old kind of stuff that we've been doing since my freshman year of college. Obviously, the pitching quality I think that we're going to be facing this year is a little bit better than what I've faced in the past, consistently. And so just kind of refining everything, and, making the misses smaller and refining my approach at the plate, swinging at good pitches, seeing spin, all that kind of thing. It's a lot less of mechanical stuff at this point than it was, my senior year of high school, my freshman year of college. And it's a lot more of just approach stuff and seeing the ball. But managing it's tough because the priority here, I think, is to get innings and make sure that I pitch every weekend. So what we're trying to do is literally, like, if I don't feel 100%, I'm not going to take swings that day. Maybe not swings, but I'll track pitches or something like that just to, stay with it on the hitting side. But it's pretty tough to manage all that. It's definitely harder, I think, here to manage it than it was at Air Force. But it's literally just a dynamic process that we've been kind of trying to refine since I've been here. And so not going to swing every day, not going to swing, every 2 days, whatever it is, but just figuring out a schedule for that.
You're an OC guy, you're an Angels fan, and everyone, on the globe knows about Shohei, but within behind the orange curtain, as we like to call it in Orange County, everybody knows about Shohei, for sure. But you look at him, I'm guessing, for a different reason. You're a fan. We get it. I grew up an Angels fan too. Father pitched for the team. But but you're a fan. But then beyond that, have you watched and read about how he tries to balance out his life? Have you been able to glean some things from watching what the greatest in the world at doing what you're doing now been able to do?
For sure. And what's cool is that Coach West has a personal relationship with him, and so he's been able to give me some guidance on that kind of thing. With how Shohei, goes about his business, because Coach West has actually experienced it. So I've read a lot, I've looked into a lot. Obviously, I've gone to games, I've watched him pitch and hit. I remember his rookie season going to a bunch of those games, and that was so cool for me to watch. And I was in high school at that point. I didn't think I was going to be where I am now, but now I'm looking at him, kind of as an inspiration, obviously, to, hopefully I can do this at the next level and do this for a long time, because he's making a very hard game look like a kid's sport, which is, I think, what everyone really wants to do with baseball. So it's been cool to watch it and, take something from him.
Folds of Honor. Visit foh.org/Paul Skenes. And if you're curious, it's an S with a K with an E with an N with an E with an S. Paul Skenes. Paul's going to be giving $10 per strikeout this year. If he goes upon the pace he did last year, he's going to be giving more than $1,000 to that charity. But you can help match him and do that. Scholarships for those that are left behind, from those that are serving our country, those that are serving in public safety, from the spouses or the children, to help them gain a further education. We obviously understand your commitment to those that make that their lives, your uncles, your commitment certainly through your first 2 years of college, but expound upon why you have tied yourself with Folds of Honor.
Yeah, Folds of Honor is a charity that is pretty personal for me and for the Air Force Academy baseball team. We have Kaz knows one of the woman that runs it very, very well. And so I reached out to him in the fall, and I was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do something like this to, give back to, the community that helped me get where I am. And so immediately he shot back, like, do it with Folds of Honor. So they've been involved with some of the stuff that we've had on the baseball team. They do charity, golf events at the Air Force Academy. For me and for the baseball team, we've had 2 baseball players die in the last couple of years. One of them was a 2018 grad, Travis Wilkie, who was at pilot training, flying a T-38, and he basically crash landed and died on impact. He wears number 20, or he wore number 20. I'm wearing number 20 this year for him and for the Air Force baseball team. He's a guy I met on one of my visits, and he is just absolutely crazy. Great human being, but he's the type of guy that you would want, defending our nation. And then Nick Daron, he wore number 25 at the Air Force Academy. He was a year older than me, another catcher. And he just loved to fly. That was the one thing he wanted to do. To be honest, he didn't care a ton about baseball compared to how much he cared about flying. Like, just wanted to fly. Owned a private, a prop plane. I don't know exactly what model it was, but he was flying home over summer break and crash landed and died doing the thing that he loved, both of them. And so Folds of Honor is involved with their families. And so, that those people make it personal for me and for the Air Force baseball team. I wasn't super close with either of them, but they both wore the uniform, and I both knew them. And so I just, want to recognize them and give back to their families and that community in any way that I can.
Selfless, my friend. I hope you strike out 250 then. I hope you strike
so.
out 250. FOH.org/Paul Skenes. I'll be tracking too. I'll be in with you. I'm going to join you in your strikeouts as well, my friend. Thank you. Best of luck to you. Have an amazing season. You're on a great team with high expectations, but that's what makes life fun. That's what makes it fun. You've earned this opportunity, Paul. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Hunter and I loving that conversation. It's Paul Skenes. When we come back, we'll move to the junior college level. And one of the great stories in all of college baseball, a player comes to the United States from Australia chasing his dreams, ends up reaching his dreams as an All-American, and then ends up coaching at the college level, not back in Australia, but in the United States. We'll tell that story to all of you on Perfect Game College Baseball when we come back in a moment. Shifting gears from the SEC to the junior college level, and we had a chance a couple of weeks back to get to know a team from Dothan, Alabama, Wallace Dothan, a really storied program with a lot of history. As a matter of fact, last year they were one win away from going to the JUCO World Series, a place where they have been accustomed to being respected. Their head coach, Mackey Sasser, for a quarter century, and a guy who caught in the big leagues for a long, long time. Mackey is retired, and Ryan Ihle is now the head coach. They won the event down in Florida that we were able to be a part of as broadcasting. I got a chance to call it. It was a lot of fun to be the voice of that event. And as they defeated Gulf Coast, two very close programs geographically. Ryan spends time with us now. A little brief intro for you, man. Now we bring you in. Ryan, thanks for hanging out with Hunter and I. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for having me on. This is quite an honor, so I appreciate you having me on here.
You did some time recruiting, coordinating, and working with Coach Sasser, who is, in your world, was a very storied coach and a part of the community. He went there, played in the big leagues, then came back there and coached kids and then coached their kids, right? I mean, when you've been in there long, talk about your experience as an understudy of Mackey and what you learned about the community of Dothan and what the program means.
I can't say enough about Mackey. He was a tremendous role model for me. Unfortunately, I was only around him for about a year until I took over. So he's now building a house down in Panama City, doing retired things, but he still is around all the time. He'll stop in, say hi, see how the guys are doing. Just a really personable guy that I learned a lot from, not only on the field but off the field. But he's a fantastic person, and can't speak highly enough of Mackey.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned that he kind of helped you out. He had an idea last year. He taught you some of the administrative stuff. And I thought it was really interesting where you said, there's not going to be a lot of huge culture change, philosophy change. The only thing is maybe let's take advantage of some of the newer technologies that are out there, specifically on the pitching side. And this is the stuff that I love to study and learn about. Is what is the leading edge? What is the new technology? And how is that impacting? Can you talk to me a little bit? I mean, I know you're a couple games deep here, but what is that technology? How do you use it, and how are the players responding?
Yeah, we're in the process of implementing some of these new technology. We're working on getting the Rapsodo devices in next year. It's obviously a bit of a financial piece to add to our program, but no, we're looking forward to adding that so that our pitchers can kind of see where they're at. Everybody else seems to have it, and guys keep asking the question about, can we get that sort of technology? And I want to use it too, because I've had in the past where pitchers have started to get hit around a little bit more, and then we find that their arm slot has changed a little bit, and just those little changes can lead to finding the barrel a little bit too much than they should. So with that on the defensive side, and then with regards to using synergy and the cameras that the camera angles that they provide, we like to use that with our hitters to kind of just break them down just a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan, that's really interesting to me. I know that, towards the end of my career, they had these super slow-mo cameras that were really helping pitchers do those little bitty differences in finger angles and whatever the mechanics may be that changed a lot of careers. So that's very exciting stuff that it's moving now down to the junior college level, and I hope that works out for you guys. I wanted to jump in a little bit onto Cade Snell and his hot start. Obviously, he's thrown 9 innings. He's been, hasn't given up anything. He's already hit 2 home runs, 900 slugging. Can you talk a little bit about Cade, his role hitting and pitching, and then also just want to hear a little bit about the lineup in general and who's looking good?
Yeah, Cade's definitely the heart and soul of our team. He's an older guy, third year kind of college guy. So, on the mound, he's been very good his first 2 outings of the season. And again, he's one of those guys that, we notice that when his arm drops down a little bit lower, that's when he starts to get hit a little bit. So when he's up top, he's really dominant down in the zone, induces a lot of weak contact. The slider's a really good strikeout pitch. But yeah, then on the offensive side of things, he hit a big home run in that championship game of the PCB tournament, and hit another one yesterday that probably still hasn't landed. But he's a big, strong, physical kid. He's the life of our group. The dugout loves him. Our players love him. But other than Cade, we've got some other guys that are really contributing big early on. Carlos Vasquez, our third baseman, has been very, very good offensively, setting the tone up the top of the lineup, and also defensively playing very solid defense. And then our first baseman, Warwick Wilmot, he's been a really, really strong freshman bat. He's creating a lot of walks, getting on base for guys like Cade and Carlos to drive him in. And then I guess a breakout star in that first tournament was Brody Capps, our right fielder. He's a freshman as well, but had 2 walk-offs in the same day, which I'd never seen before in my time. So, we've got some guys that are showing some glimpses. We just, we know it's a long season. We hope that they can continue to keep their consistency.
What do you love most, Ryan, about this level of college baseball? I've been lucky to be kind of like a magnet pulled into it by, guys like Brian Sikowski, who are so passionate about it. That's who I was able to call the games. And, it's reintroduced me to junior college baseball. I, as a SoCal kid, kind of thought I wanted to play JUCO baseball, but that was a long time ago. What are you most passionate about this specific level of college baseball?
I think it's the purest form of college baseball. Just with regards to the fact that, we don't have a whole lot of rules or regulations. It's pretty much, hey, this is the day you can start practice. This is the day you have to stop practice. And there's no time frame, with regards to the days on when we can work with these guys. If I wanted to be working with these guys, late into the night, working in the cages or whatnot, I can, which is great because that's what these guys deserve in order to, really progress and develop as players. Some of these guys need a little bit more hands-on work with themselves. So that's what I love about it. It's very pure. It's very honest baseball, and you get a lot out of the kids. And you put whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get out. And so that's why I like to be around them as much as possible and helping them in any way I can.
How much has your time in the Cape sharpened you as a coach?
Well, being around those kind of players, but not only those players, those coaches up there. That's been a tremendous honor. Being around guys like Coach Trundy, Jeff Trundy, the head coach for Falmouth, Brett Becker. He was the assistant coach and hitting coach there with Falmouth. He was my mentor. That guy's my other brother. And then also Mike Landry, our pitching coach. Those are 3 incredible minds just to be around and on a daily basis. It's developed me, tremendously as a coach, but also seeing that level of play is really, really cool to see on a daily basis. Being around those kind of players, and you understand that they're not as any different to what I have here at Wallace Dothan. They're just a little bit different. They have a little bit different tools that you don't see too often, and they're special kids. So I'm really, really blessed for the time that I was able to have up there to help me with my coaching career and get me to where I am today.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing story. You can learn so much getting to see the different minds and the different players. So really cool that you get to do that. And obviously the Cape is, it's majestic in and of itself. So that's just amazing that you do that. Something that I thought you said and something, Ryan, that I really relate to is I remember being in JUCO. I learned more about baseball in my 1 year at JUCO than as far as just gathering it all, because there was no time limit and we could be in the cages working. And you're a hitting guy. You've had a lot of success coaching hitting. And I love hearing that you're I can get in the cages and work with them into the night if we got to do that to help develop. What are some things that you want to see and that you like to work on? I love hearing from guys like you that have been in there doing it in the Cape, in the college level for a long time. I like to hear and give some of these tips to some of the perfect game players that are listening in high school and in junior high and whatnot.
Yeah, my philosophy isn't too, crazy. It's pretty simple. I like to teach our guys to use their legs, be balanced in the box and find a way to get the fat part of the bat to the ball. And their approach needs to be to the middle of their field, and try to be gap to gap as much as possible. But one thing that I know a lot of kids kind of turn their head at me when they first get here is, I don't want them to hit the top of the cage when we're in the cages. I want backspin line drives hitting the back of the cage. And even if we're one hop in the back net, that's ideal for me, because that means we're squaring up the baseball in a closed environment. Because once we get out on the field and you got somebody trying to get you out, and you're trying to lift the ball or trying to hit it up in the air, it's conducive to a lot of swing and misses or weak contact. So I just tell them to square up the baseball, find a way to square it up, hit it hard, and the rest will do it. Will take care of itself.
Right. Yeah, I think that is pretty important, and I've experienced that. So sometimes we want to get big picture, and everyone wants to see slug and homers. It's like, oh, practice hitting homers. But when you tick it up a notch, because the game is always ticked up a notch, that homer and BP becomes a foul ball, like you said, soft contact. Really beautiful stuff. And Barry Bonds actually used to always say that. He said, just hit a line drive through the second baseman and the shortstop every swing. You can't control where it goes, but that, when you tick it up, becomes a little bit further. So, man, beautiful stuff right there. I wanted to dive in a little bit on your pitching staff. Talk a little bit about how the pitching arms are looking. Obviously you being the hitting guy, but, I want to hear, how they've looked in the 9 games. It seems like they're pitching pretty well.
Yeah, no, they're doing a really good job. Other than the one game against Walter State this weekend where we gave up, a fair few runs, they've been really, really dominant with tacking hitters in the zone, being able to mix the fastball in and out. And our pitching coach, CJ Upshaw, is doing a really good job with calling pitches and also, helping these guys as much as possible. He's been in the locker room working with our guys, making sure that, they've got a good idea of how to attack the hitters whenever we play them. And Cade Snell leading the staff, that's pretty good number one to have. And then you have and then you've got a couple other guys that are starting to find their stride that may have not have had so much success at their previous school, but coming here and finally getting an opportunity, like Christian Ford coming from another junior college down in Florida. He's been really effective, big, tall, 6'6" kid, but with a lot of pitch ability. He's been excellent, and a couple other guys are showing some glimpses. We got to get guys better. Finding ways to minimize the other team from scoring. But so far, I'm pleased with what we have, and hopefully we can continue to build off our success on the mound.
Ryan, as an Australian, can you kind of describe your baseball foundation, when and where you fell in love with the sport, and why? We know Australian baseball, and it's played a lot in Australia, certainly, and they're passionate with Perfect Game. We've been able to partner on a lot of efforts. But for you, I'd love to know your specific story and why you fell in love with this sport, so much so that you left your country to go chase it in the college level in the United States.
Yeah, I know I don't really sound like it anymore. I've been stuck over here in the United States for too long. But no, my love kind of fell into place for the game early on. I was born in Arizona, and so I grew up, started to play a little baseball there. But we moved to Australia when I was really young, and I loved it when I played in Arizona. And so when we arrived in Australia, I knew I wanted to find a place that played baseball, a club or something. And it wasn't easy to find something over there, particularly when I first moved. But now with the Australian Baseball League expanding and gaining more, international attention, it's really starting to take off over there as a sport. And, it's pretty cool to see some pretty big prospects, coming from over here in the United States, going over there to kind of play in that league. And, you guys got guys like Ronald Acuna Jr., Rhys Hoskins, Didi Gregorius, guys like that have played in that league that have really helped grow it. But, when I wanted to get into coaching, I knew there wasn't any college coaching opportunities in Australia. We don't have college baseball. So it was just kind of a risk I had to take to come back over here and continue to further my coaching career. And, I have no regrets whatsoever. This has been an incredible experience. And I know I haven't got into my coaching career too far along the line just yet, but I'm excited for what this year has to come, and I'm kind of taking it day by day. It's just my MO.
Ryan, thank you for your time. Thanks for letting Hunter and I get to meet your program and get to meet you as well through your words. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate your support and your coverage of junior college baseball, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the years with our program, but also the sport as well.
Got to cover it. I got an alum as my co-host. I got a JUCO alum. Ain't no way I'm getting away with not covering JUCO baseball. Ryan Ihle was excellent. Getting to know him, certainly great. Paul Skenes from LSU. Two great guests. By the way, next week we're diving in deep. We're going to have a great Perfect Game college scout. Either Craig Cozart or Vinny Servino join us. We're going to have weekly headlines. The season is underway now. Certainly the JUCO level, but D1 season gets going as you watch this show. Hunter and I, thank you for spending time with us on Perfect Game College Baseball.